welcome back to another episode of Life in My Shoes, where we want to sit back and hear all things about you.
I'm Hannah.
I'm Jenna.
And we're just two grad students studying mass communication at LSU. This podcast we created focuses on the representational issues that are still present today. And for this episode, we have a very special guest who will dive into her own personal experiences with interracial dating.
This is Naya Hunter. Yay! We should totally edit sounder about it. But first, a word from our sponsors.
So there were about 70 million total OkCupid users in 2022, shown from direct research from OkCupid. Now, how many in 2023 is a great question, but some more great information we got from our sponsor is that in 2020, people thought voting was super sexy. 76% of users claim that it's important to know their date's political views, and 64% believe that cross-party dating will not work out. So that's very promising.
Okay,
Now time for our introductions.
so where are you from?
I'm from Ponchatoula,
Nice. What state?
Louisiana.
So we're going to talk about a little bit about Naya's background. So, what are your siblings' names
I have
and ages?
like 4 sisters and 2 brothers. So I have a twin, so we're both 21. Another sister that's 20, older sister that's 30, and then our brothers are 15 and 11.
Alright, can you describe your parents?
But they're both pretty serious. I guess smart. They're both in the military, so they're like military type of people, if that explains it for you.
Can you describe a bit of your culture growing up? Take your time. That's hard.
I don't know what you mean by that question.
So like, kind of like describe what it was like growing up around your family. Like, did you start dating at like a young age?
Phone
Did your-
usage,
yeah.
kind of stuff. What they were strict on, what they were more
Well,
lenient on.
our parents weren't super strict because we didn't really get in trouble, if that makes sense. So,
Yeah, we're
like,
good kids.
Yeah, we were good kids. I mean, we played sports too, so like playing sports, I feel like kind of kept us out of trouble. And then from like 7th grade until like obviously graduation, like we were actually playing school sports. So then it was more important to be behaving better. And then we got like good grades and stuff. So good grades, and then we're playing sports and we pretty much stayed out of trouble. So they weren't super strict. But we didn't have phones until we were like maybe freshmen in high school. So, like,
Really? Not in junior age.
no,
That's
that's phone.
respectful. Did you have an iPod? No.
Good for you.
That is so nice. I want my kids to not have something until high school.
So, what was the culture like around dating when growing up? I know you played like a lot of sports, so I don't know if you had time to or anything, but like, what were your parents' thoughts on that, or like, what were the people around you doing?
Like,
I guess in high school.
I've only ever had 2 boyfriends, and the first one was like junior year of high school. So I mean, I've liked, had crushes and stuff, but it was nothing like super serious.
Yeah.
Well, the first one actually wasn't serious. We dated for like a month, but we officially dated for a month, but we were like together for a long time, I guess. And then I didn't have like, I guess, a super serious boyfriend until college.
Got you.
Sorry. What is your experience with dating, and have you dated interracially?
Yes, exclusively. I was being funny, but so I feel like I have some good examples, cause like I'll be talking to people and they're like, oh, what kind of guys do you like? And I'm like, well, I've dated like a wide range of white guys. I think that's my answer, cause I feel like it's kind of funny. One of them was like a rapper. He's like a white rapper, and then I've like talked to like some baseball players, some like country, some like less country. So it's like a
wide range.
Yeah, it is. It really. Like I said, I've only like actually dated like 2 of them. I like talked to a number of them, and they're like all different. And I feel like that kind of explains what I was saying earlier, where it's like a personality thing or like an attraction thing. It's not like a race thing.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like like, yeah, they were all white, but I talked to him because I was like, I like his mustache, or like, I like his.
Yeah, it wasn't. I like you
his
because you're
rap
white.
song.
His rap was really
No,
good.
yeah, he was. Whew, that was something else.
So now we're going to go into the topic-specific questions. So, how do you think the stereotypes of interracial relationships still exist today? Like, what do you think kind of fuels the fire of those stereotypes?
I feel like the first thing that kind of came to mind was probably racism, I guess, because obviously you have people that are like, y'all shouldn't be dating outside your race, you know, just keep it or whatever. And I feel like that right there just kind of, maybe not everything, but most thing kind of stems from that.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of it could also be like unrecognized racism. It's like a lot of attitudes that people have towards other races and they don't even realize they have those attitudes. Like,
I get a lot of like, I feel like I don't even say specifically like, I don't even be like, oh yeah, I just like prefer white guys, because it's been times where I'm like, oh well, yeah, I do, and then like black guys will be like, oh, so you don't like black guys, like you don't like your own race and stuff like that, and it's like, that doesn't make any sense, because I mean, I guess to them it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense to me, because I'm like, it's not really a race specific thing.
It's not a preference of race.
It's more like a type to me. Like me,
yeah, type.
I like mustaches, and I don't see a lot of like black guys with mustaches. So I'm like, well, I mean, you don't have a mustache, so not my fault. You know, it's not about
Not my fault, you're not type.
Right. So I mean, like, I like mustaches. You don't have a mustache. It's really more that. It's not like you being black versus white, because it's not a black-white thing. And I feel like
Yeah.
Is a stereotype.
yeah. And then people are like, I guess it's looks first love, focus on, oh, she's black, he's white, or whatever, or opposite, instead of being like, I mean, he's nice to me, like, he takes me on dates and stuff, like, that's why we're together, it's not a color thing.
Yeah.
So, can you describe a bit about your past relationships? Just overall.
I mean, like I said, I only had, like, 2, and I guess the first one was shorter. I can't even remember. I'm trying to think about how we, like, started talking.
What was just like the general overview of your relationship like? Like, was it a good experience, bad experience?
Well, the first one was good. He was very nice. Like, we never had any problems or anything, and I mean, we were still in high school, and like, so I feel like it wasn't like, well, I mean, we didn't get any comments or nothing in high school. I mean, everybody was cool, I guess, and I guess it wasn't as big of a deal. I mean, we didn't even really go too many places together, because like I said, we were in high school. So like,
Yeah.
I think we went to a couple of his basketball games. We were on the track team together, so like, I don't know. But like I said, he was nice. It was nice. It wasn't too much.
So you say that was positive.
Yeah, but there was no, like, I can't even think of anything, because there was no
It was
like
so
race
short.
consideration.
Oh,
Like, we
okay.
were just
Yeah.
together, like, you know.
Yeah,
And
it
you
wasn't really about a race.
No,
thing.
And no one around you made it like that either.
no.
So, what was different about your second relationship? Because it seems like there's like.
Well, I feel like I said, me and him were together for like almost 2 years, and he was older. Like, obviously, me and the one in high school are the same age, but this one, he was like 4 years older. Or I mean, he is 4 years older. And we were together for way longer. That was actually, I don't know, there was definitely more negative than positive, but I feel like that just depends on the person. Because I've talked to different boys, like, I've never like dated, but like, I've had positive, I guess, relationships with other guys, not him. But since he's my boyfriend, like I said, we would go places, and sometimes it'd be like, people are definitely talking about us. Like, you could tell, or you could feel it or whatever. And actually, I'm pretty sure his family was kind of racist too, which is like, I guess, hard. Because maybe for a minute, we were like, yeah, we're gonna get married. But then you have to think on it and be like, would I really want to marry somebody whose family, like, they never said nothing outright, but sometimes it's like, well, I'm gonna get to that in a second. But, like, would I really want to marry somebody whose family obviously is kind of like they're gonna be nice to you.
Yeah.
I mean, not all of them, but I mean, they were nice to me, but sometimes.
It's just like what's being said behind closed doors.
Right.
You could feel the energy kind of thing.
So, like, me and him dated, and his younger sister was 15. Well, I mean, obviously they're all white, and her boyfriend was black. And I feel like I'm pretty sure that their parents had a problem with her dating him, but like didn't seem like they had a problem with me dating him. I mean, her parents had a problem with her dating a black guy, but it didn't seem like they had a problem with me dating her brother, which I thought was like strange because like either you have a problem with it or you don't. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, the guy or girl makes a difference or whatever. But his dad actually got kicked out of like walk-on or something for screaming the N-word. Like, yeah. I mean, I wasn't there, but
What?
yeah. So like,
Jesus.
I'm pretty sure like one of the sisters, like I said, they were nice to me, and I'm like the siblings weren't like racist, but like I don't know, maybe the parents were.
Had some like underlying
Right,
issues.
obviously the dad, but anyways,
Yeah,
but like
that's
I think his
insane.
sister told me they were like, yeah, they were talking or whatever, and he was like, basically like I think he was drunk. He was like, why can't I say it? And then just started like kind of saying it louder, and then they had to be escorted out of the restaurant, which is obviously not cool. And then, you know, you hear that and it's like, well, this is supposed to be my future father-in-law, but he's
Yeah,
screaming
that's
the N-word in
scary.
restaurants, so you know.
So, speaking
story.
on to the topic of like underlying racism. In the article Multiracial and Proud, it says since the late 1960s, when the U.S. Supreme Court overturned the last laws that forbade interracial marriage, the number of these marriages has exploded by an astounding 800%. From 1970 to 1990, the number of racially mixed children quadrupled to 2 million, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. And today there are at least 4 million racially mixed children in the U.S. who are 18 years or older. So,
Yeah.
18 years older or younger, excuse me. So with so many more interracial relationships, what do you think the issue is that people still have with it? Like, you say that you have an ex-boyfriend where your possible future father-in-law was like clearly a racist. So like, why do you think that stigma still exists after all this time?
Well, I'm pretty sure his parents are older than my parents. With some people, that grew up in like 1950s were around during like the riots and stuff. So if, like if your parents are older or like grew up like that and their parents are like that, then it's kind of like not they don't know any better because you're grown, you're supposed to know any better, but like that's how they were raised, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because like not my grandma, but sometimes she says stuff. I'm like, you can't say stuff like that. But like I don't think she means like racist, but like that's how it was when she grew up. Or it's like when like older white people say like colored. And it's like, but like that's just how it is when they grew up. If that makes sense.
So do you think like if the media created content that would like kind of like attempt to disband the stereotypes, do you think people would like still be stuck in their ways, or do you think media has like the opportunity to improve the stigma against it?
Probably both, because I mean, no, I'm not gonna say like you're always gonna have racist people, but I mean kind of. But it's the same with like anything, I guess. Like me, I hate ketchup. No commercial is gonna make me like ketchup, and I don't think I'm ever gonna be able to change that. So I mean, it's kind of like that, but with racism.
Interesting take.
So if you're interested in someone when they are a different race, do you go about dating differently?
As far as like, I guess, expressing interest or like starting to talk to them, I would have to say no, because like we said, race is not the main point. I mean, if you think somebody's handsome or you think somebody's pretty, you go up to them, you ask for the number. Like, I feel like that's something I had to learn as I feel like a person that like usually obviously talks to white guys or something like that. Cause like I said, when I was like younger, I feel like it was a big deal. Like I was like, oh, I can't talk to him, or like he would like me because we're like, you know, different races or whatever. But like once I got to college and start talking, I guess, more guys, you realize that some people think like that, everybody doesn't think like that. And it's like I said, I think like sometimes I'm like, okay, he's cute, I'm gonna give him my number and not be like, oh, I don't know, I'm just gonna wait. Cause like I said, I think I've gotten more yeses than nos, and like that could be anything. Like I could be like, I mean, he might have a girlfriend, I don't know, or he, like I might not be his type. It's not just like a race thing. But if you mean like dating as far as like being in a relationship, I would say sometimes, because there's like you can't ignore race completely because there's definitely differences, and like you have to be able to understand the differences, I guess. Like, I'm saying hair, for example. Obviously, like we probably wouldn't have the same hair, so like. I mean, I might be asking questions about yours, you might be asking questions about mine, like, why does it have to be like this? Like, why don't I wash my hair every day? Like, I don't know, like, simple stuff like that, but there's also bigger stuff. So, like, I guess, as far as choosing, I would say there's no difference, but, like, when you're dating, you don't have to, like, make it a huge deal, but be aware, you know?
To get to know the other person because y'all guys, different.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's important to like acknowledge the differences in race and admire the differences instead of ignoring it and pretending it doesn't exist, because ultimately, like, if you pretend race doesn't exist, that's an underlying issue.
Yeah, because why are you pretending? Yeah.
So, what is special about the interracial relationships that you have been in or witnessed, and would you say they're different from same-race relationships?
I don't know, because part of me is like, I wouldn't say special because it's just like, my mindset is it's just a relationship. We just have to happen to be different races.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say, oh, you have to put us on a pedestal because we're in an interracial relationship. You need to acknowledge that. Like, some people are like that, but I'm like, it's my boyfriend. Do you have a boyfriend? I have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just different colors, you know? I say my dad and my stepmom, I mean, she's white. Like I said, half my sisters are like mixed. So, but I say I don't think of a difference because, like, I mean, I say they're just my parents. Like,
Yeah.
they're just normal parents, whether they're white or black. You know?
Yeah. So, would you say, like, the interracial relationships that you see, would you say they're very different from, like, same-race relationships, or would you say they're about the same? Because, like, you see them as, like, people, not, like, as, like, separate races. So, like, would you say they're, like, same relationships?
I feel like that's a hard question to answer too because
Fundamentally.
everybody's relationships are different.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I guess a little different because, like, half our church is like mixed relationships, like maybe all of them honestly, and like sometimes they're like making jokes and they're like, yeah, I didn't know like this and this and this about like black people or whatever, but like it's funny, I guess. But like, obviously if you're like two white people, it wouldn't be the same thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess that's like a little funny thing, but it's not like a.
I think it, like, has
problem.
its differences, but, like, at the end of the day, they're just relationships.
Right.
Like, they're all different. They're gonna have similarities.
I don't know, like I said, when I dated my boyfriend, we went to the beach, and like I don't need any sunscreen, but he needs sunscreen, you know. So it's like stuff like that where it's like, I've never gotten sunburn in my life. Like, I can go sit in the sun for like 8 hours straight, and then just go home like I'm just a little bit darker. But like he's like, I can't sit in the sun that long. Like we can't sit at the beach all day. Like we have to go home. So like stuff like that, like, you know.
Yeah, just little things. What is some of your, like, favorite media that you would say dismantles the stereotype? Like, do you have
Such
any-
as Bridgerton that you brought up earlier.
Yeah, like, do you have any other examples? Or do you have examples that are just, like, awful and they kind of, like, highlight the
Enforce.
stereotype or, like, enforce the stereotype?
I have to think about this for a minute because I know there's probably definitely a movie that I'm like, oh.
Even ones that try to bring in satire, I guess, make it more comedy based, but then reinforce it.
Have you ever seen Death at a Funeral? Probably not.
What's it called?
Death at a Funeral.
You can just explain it if you
I
want.
don't really remember it. That's all I was asking. But I just know there's. I feel like there's movies. I know I've definitely seen movies where it's like this whole. I guess basically the whole issue that we're talking about, but in a movie. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I can't even remember the name of them. I did not watch TV very much.
I don't even.
I guess I would say Bridgerton. I mean, that's a good one because, like I said earlier, like she, I mean, puts them in there and they're like, you know, mixed race or whatever, but it's just like the story. Like,
Yeah.
it's like if you were to switch the characters for somebody else, it wouldn't make a difference because
Yeah.
it doesn't matter that they're black or white. I mean,
Yeah.
some of the characters, obviously, yeah, but like
Yeah.
other parts. It's
But for
like,
the most part, it's like about the story.
Right.
It's not really about,
What's her name? The director of that?
Shonda Rhimes.
she does like other
Shonda
shows
Rhimes
too.
does a good job.
Like Grey's Anatomy.
Well, I'm watching,
She does Grey's Anatomy.
I'm watching
And
Scandal right now.
Yeah, I started it, but I haven't finished it. I'm back.
I
I'm
was
on season,
I don't
I'm
watch
on
TV.
season 3 right now.
When we're in class, we talk about so many different shows. I'm like, don't
Okay,
know.
but Scandal,
I need to watch
I
Scandal.
need to watch Scandal.
So I feel like the media is working to dismantle the stereotypes that we see within interracial relationships. But how can individuals do better?
I'm not saying like, oh, it's too late for our generation or anything, but like, I feel like one would be like, not raise your kids right, but raise your kids right. Like, you don't have to be like, you need to love other races more than anything else, but like, just, I don't know, I feel like tolerance is a bad word, because that sounds like you have to do it.
It's
or
like
whatever.
just educating them that it's normal. You know, like not acting like
People are people. Teach your kids that people
People
are people.
are
Like
people.
If you don't like them because they're annoying, you don't like them because they're annoying. But if you don't like them because they're black, then like, you know.
Do you think that that's an issue with being raised a certain way if you see that in our generation, or do you think it's a personal?
I think half and half, because like your parents can raise you, but at the end of the day, I mean, you kind of have free will. Like,
Yes, yeah.
I mean, somebody can put a gun to your head, and you still can be like, I'm not gonna be racist, you know. So like, that's your dilemma.
Yeah. So, is there any advice that you would give to your younger self or to viewers listening that are kind of going through the same thing with interracial relationships?
I would say definitely care about what people think a little less, which, I mean, it's hard when you're like a teenager, obviously, and that's literally all you care about. But like, as you get older, like I say older, I'm 21, but like I said, I always just think that it was a bigger deal than it was, and then I feel like that was other people's like feelings on me, because like everybody else has me feeling like it's a big deal, but it's not. And like, I guess once I realized that, it was easier for me to be like, oh, he's cute, I'm gonna give him my number, whether he's black or white, like, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like I've gotten not miss some, got some opportunities, not miss some opportunities. What's the phrase?
Not miss some opportunities?
Yeah. Like, I've been able to take some opportunities, and I like guys that I see or like might like to talk to, because I wasn't like, he might
You
not
miss
like
100%
me.
of the shots you don't take.
Right.
Kind of thing?
So
Is
like,
that what you meant? I was like, thinking.
I was trying to say not missed opportunities, but that's not how this phrase goes. I got to take some opportunities, is what I was trying to say, but I was trying to make it easier.
It's good. We get what you're saying.
I get what you're saying.
So like, I feel like definitely caring a little less. Obviously like being around, or I mean, I guess it's not really choice, but like finding the right people. Because like I said, there's been guys I'm like, okay, he's handsome, I give him my number, we're talking, and then it comes out that like, you know, he's kind of weird, because like, then I was like, oh well, he doesn't care about race, or it doesn't seem like it, and then it's like, I've never been with a black girl, and then it's like, okay, not you, like, I gotta go find, you know, somebody else, and that's just life, and that's dating. But I think, I guess back what I said about like having free will, because like I've heard a lot of people, like more people than I probably could count right now, say like, yeah, I would like date outside my race, but my parents don't agree with it, or my parents wouldn't allow it. And it's like, I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, I mean, it's kind of your decision. If that's like something, not if that's something you really want, like if that's a person that you really like, not saying like, oh, I just really want to, you know, try and date a black guy. I don't know, that's kind of weird. But like, if you're like, me and him really like each other, like, it seems like we're gonna go somewhere with this, but like, I guess your parents are like holding you back, or like you're scared what your parents are gonna think, then I mean, like that's the decision that you gotta make, you know, like once you get to be an adult,
Yeah,
your parents
especially
can't
if
make
you're-
all your decisions for you, and if this is the person that you think you want to marry or something and you're gonna miss out because of race or your parents, then it's like, you know.
Yeah, especially if you're old enough. Like, I definitely get for if you're like a lot younger and you're trying to date at like a young age interracially and your parents don't agree with it, that can be like a really tough topic. But especially if you're older, even if your parents don't agree, it's still tough. But I definitely think whenever you're older, it's just like the decision you have to make for yourself. Like, how important is this person in my life? But also, like, I feel like parents need to understand that, like, you know, you're a grown up. You're doing what you believe is best, and like at the end of the day, that's your choice. You know, it's your person. It's what you want to do, and I think that's important for parents to remember also.
Yeah. But like I said earlier, I feel like maybe we're like the last generation who can really say like our parents, because like I said, some people's parents are like 50, 60 right now, and it's like they were raised like in the times or whatever where.
Yeah.
Not that it's like reasonable for them to think like that, but I guess you can understand why they think like that. But like, I guess once we move into like we're being parents and grandparents, then it's kind of like at that point, it's like if your parents don't agree with it, then it's a little different, you know?
Yeah.
So
we're talking about like how our parents raised us and stuff like that. So how do you think you would go about raising your children to understand that like interracial relationships are, I don't want to say like just any other relationship, but like how can we grow up and teach our kids to like respect interracial relationships and know that it's like a normal thing? It's not something that's like taboo.
I feel like, I'm not going to say I wouldn't even comment on it, but I would kind of, because like I said, my dad's wife's white, and like everybody, not everybody, but half the people we go to church with, like all of them are like mixed or whatever, and like mixed couples or whatever. So I feel like that's just like what we're around. Like it's normal to me. Like I don't even think of it too much. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's just a part of life, and it would probably like my husband would probably be white. I don't know. So like it was.
So they're gonna grow up just seeing it as
right. Like it would literally just be a part.
But I think honestly, like that's the best way to have kids to understand that like it's a normal thing is to just be like around it and exposed to it, you know, because like growing up, like I was raised the same way. Like I went to school with kids who had like mixed parents and stuff, and I didn't really think it was anything like crazy or taboo to where like, you know, we have like the older generation where they think, oh, it's not right because that's the way we were raised. You know, I think like just exposing our future generation to it, especially like throughout media, you know, like if we have media that's produced that's not inflicting those stereotypes, I feel like that would definitely at least help us go into the right direction.
Yeah, I definitely, environment definitely counts. So.
Yeah.
I guess that's how I grew up too, with just an environment that was, it just was, everything's normal. I didn't look into things deeply, like from one color to the next, it doesn't.
But like our school was like,
yeah.
I mean, just high school was like
Our high school was
half and half, and everybody was.
That's how my high school was too.
Not everybody was friends, but like
I feel like
most of them, like the sports teams, it's like mostly mixed. So like, you know, it's like I don't know, normal, regular. I never really was like.
That's why I think as the future goes on, that it's just going to be more normalized to where it doesn't have to be a conversation that you have to talk about to normalize it.
Yeah, I think it's just gonna be normal.
Mm-hmm. Like the environment thing you were talking about.
I've only met like 3 mixed people over 50, which I think is crazy because like I said, I
didn't think
have like a
about
bunch of sisters, like half sisters, stepsisters, and like most of them are mixed. I have like a bunch of friends
I didn't even
and
think
stuff like
about
that
That's crazy.
that are mixed. And like some people I meet and like, cause you have like a wide range of mixed people, like the way they look. So you know I meet and they're like, I didn't even know you're mixed because you look like white or black. So it's like there's so many more, and like not even just black and white, but like one of my cousins have Mexican. So like there's all kind of mixed people all over the place.
Do I know the person?
He's 18.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's younger. But like, I don't know. It just I don't know.
There's
Like,
just, like,
I
a lot
grew
of
up, like I
stuff
said,
that-
I grew up. My sister have, my cousins have. Like, I don't know. Just that was just the person I had kids with.
Yeah, it's stuff that a lot of people like just don't think about. I feel like, or at least like I don't particularly think about it because like I just thought it was normal growing up, and it is normal. That's the thing. Like,
Right.
I think when our generation has some type of perception towards it, it's because of parental views in a way. Like it started off that way, possibly. Or
Yeah,
your
I think-
environment,
I
but-
think like exposure as you grow up really helps with it too because like I mean obviously my grandparents were raised like in the 50s and 60s and they probably didn't have the best mindset back then because that's how society was, but I mean me being exposed to like going to school and like having friends of different races, witnessing relationships of different races, being in an interracial relationship, like I think how you were saying earlier, like your free will, like as you get older, you have the choices to educate yourself and see it as normalized, or I don't want to
Stubborn
say
and ignorant.
be ignorant. Yeah, I guess
Be
being
stubborn and
ignorant is like
ignorant.
the only way to say it. Like you have the choice to not be ignorant as you grow up.
Or
Or just be kind.
I'm not even right. I'm not even saying like I can't make you not racist, but like you can keep it to yourself.
You
or
can just be
mind
a
your
nice
business,
person.
Go about your business. Like if you're gonna hate
At the end of the day,
But
it's not
do
your
it
relationship.
at home or something. Right.
Yeah.
That's who.
No,
Yeah, just be a kind person.
That is
Period.
literally that is the tagline for this entire class.
Yeah.
Just be a nice person.
Yeah.
We want to give a special shout out to our guest Naya. Thank you for coming on with us, and a shout out to our sponsor OkCupid. We will see y'all
In 2
in
weeks.
2 weeks. We air every Monday at noon, so be on
Central
the
Standard
lookout.
Time.
Central Standard Time, and be on the lookout for the next episode of Life in My Shoes. Thank you.